All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to try it for the third time, my friend. I think we're in this time. Joyce Simpson, how you doing tonight? Hey, let me just say this. The devil is a lie. He can't win this. He can't win this game tonight. Our mission is too important. We got too much to say, you know?
That's right. That's right.
I absolutely feel like that. So once again, welcome to the GT Factor, where we inspire you, we empower you, we educate you, we elevate you. And I've got someone tonight, Miss Joyce Simpson. We met way over the West Coast at James Belinchak's retreat there. And Joyce, whoever would imagine that? I didn't even know I'd have a YouTube show, but I got one now, and it's been really great. And I'm so honored to have you tonight. How you doing, Joyce?
I'm doing great. It's been a little hard getting on, but we are here, and that's what matters, and we are doing great. Yes.
You know something? I want to say this to you, that there's no way that this message that you got was not going to be heard. I don't care if we had to go on tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, Sunday night at 11:30, next week at 12:30. I know that what you have to talk about matters tonight. And we're in such tragic times right now, Ms. Simpson. I'm just going to be very formal right now and say that when I looked over your bio, and knowing you as we know each other, so I want to make sure our viewers and listeners know that we were all on a retreat with a mentor, James Belinchak, to empower, inspire, to get more skills as speakers, more skills as authors, more skills to motivate and empower people. And we sat next to each other for 3 or 4 days straight there, and we had an incredible time. And I will never forget that connection. So with that introduction, I'm going to make it even more formal. This is Joyce Simpson. She is a life coach, been doing it for 3 decades. So truly, anyone's been in any profession. I was a teacher 31 years. I know that those 31 years gave me an intellectual property. So tonight, I'm excited, Joyce, that you're going to share your intellectual property with us. So when the music stops, I always ask that very first question. Tell us why life coaching. Tell us a little bit about you and why life coaching.
Okay. So, I have done massage therapy for 30 years. And I noticed so much stress held in the body. And yes, massage helped and it made a difference, but there's so many emotions and stress and inner dialogue that impacts our bodies. So I was drawn to hear people's stories, and people, strangers in restaurants and all over the place would tell me their stories. They would open up to me. And I think that really inspired me to step into life coaching. I wanted to make a difference and help people to live their best life. Right. And, really experience transformation in their life.
Correct. So in other words, you were just led by spirit to say that I'm going to be a coach because someone's listening to me. You're giving response to people, and all of a sudden you're doing something that we talk about every week on this show. Everyone has been given an innate, an intrinsic, and inherent assignment here, Joyce. And it sounds like to me over 3 decades ago, your assignment was to inspire and empower people to be better versions of themselves. You and our platforms are so in alignment with each other. That's why I knew tonight would be very good for us to just share why we want to be of a humanitarian cause. So in other words, your first profession and what you were doing, I know your bio spoke that you were in sales, but you were in massage therapy. That was the first ground that you stood on, correct?
Correct.
And just through conversations with other people and hearing their, stories. And, I'm always talking about that with people. I always tell them that we have to find those pain points, right? We have to find those places where we're uncomfortable, and we have to decide that, those changes are non-negotiable to change them. So for 3 decades now, and even we spoke a little earlier through text briefly, you said, hey, I'm on a call with a client right now. And I said, wow, man, she's really doing her thing. And I'm just happy to hear that. So tell us more about it, your expertise in coaching. And you also mentioned, so that it would be part of this conversation, that you deal with mental health. You deal with being a mental fitness person. So you kind of, and I think they're all intertwined together. When you're a life coach, you're obviously dealing with the mental, but I want to be quiet and let you tell me your reason, your why. Once again, that I see you started by saying it started through conversations, but something had to keep you in that arena for 3 decades.
Yeah, well, you know what? I truly believe that every human being is here for a purpose.
Yes,
They are valuable, they are loved, they have their own unique characteristics that God equipped them with. And I believe that God has a plan and purpose for each person. And I love helping people step into their worthiness. I love helping people recognize that life can be hard, and yes, there's things that cause overwhelm and stress and depression, and it can be difficult, but we have a God that helps us overcome those things. And
mm,
I love walking alongside people and providing additional tools to help them live their best life. God is the one who brings lasting transformation in our lives.
yes.
And I'm there to support, I'm there to encourage, I'm there to help with clarity. I'm there for them to discover what is their best life and then help them step into it.
Well, I need to just interject right here because you said help them discover their true worthiness. And when you said that, it's just like when I speak to people about being able to define yourself or being able to activate your true purpose for being on this planet. And it's something I heard Denzel Washington said. Believe it or not, I was just shaving your head up today, and because I'm always listening to other people and they inspire me all the time. And he said something. He said, we got 24/7, 168 hours a week. And sometimes you walk around telling yourself a lie, Joyce. You walk around living in this imposter syndrome. And I say, wow. And he said a coin term that I use a lot. He said, people are running from their true, authentic identification. Their AI, not artificial intelligence, but their AI, authentic identification. And what you just said
Mm-hmm.
is just so compelling. That's why I said
Mm-hmm.
that when I put in the description for you, I said you want to hear her compelling story because she's an advocate for change for a humanitarian cause. And for me, when I hear you speak, and then you segue right into two of the components of what I call the P3 theory. Where your passion and purpose and possibilities are, you have to do it from mind, body, and most important that you just said, spirit. And I
Mm-hmm.
to you, remember, I got my little hat that I'll probably put on before we end. That God has to come first.
I
Totally,
agree. I agree.
totally. You
And
know.
you said something, Gregory, that is so important, and that is our inner dialogue that we have. It's not always true. Our we can lie to ourselves, and we need to be aware of what is truth and what is a lie,
Hmm.
because we need to stand in our truth.
Yes.
And that is really what mental fitness is about. So, yes, I am certified as a mental fitness coach. And, I help people discover their saboteurs, the things that are sabotaging their life, like controller, victim, stickler, hyperachiever, and be able to shift out of that. And actually, God created our brains so amazing that we can actually create new neural pathways in the right side of our brain and shift out of those sabotaging thoughts and create new thoughts and new ways of thinking. So I help my clients to learn how to do that and to identify. An example is controller saboteur. I remember one time, I'm Swedish. I have my Swedish smorgasbord on Christmas Eve, and I buy all my three daughters matching pajamas with myself. And it's a custom. It's something that we do every
Nice.
Christmas. Well, I'm on the phone with my daughter Nina, and she's like, "Oh, how about these Christmas shorts, these jammy shorts?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to wear shorts on Christmas. I might be cold. I might want my PJ Salvage flannels." And I caught it. I caught it. Oh, controller saboteur is here. Controller saboteur. And I said, you know what? You make such great fashion choices and such great decisions. You pick out what you think is good, send them to me, I'll wrap them, and it'll be great. What did that do? it built relationship. It gave her value. What if I said, no, this is my tradition and we're going to get what I want. And when you have your
Right.
family, you can get what you want. So this is a short example of how the saboteurs can show up and how we can be aware, catch them, and then shift to a different way of thinking, because they beat us up constantly with with lies.
Negative,
Yeah.
just being, it's the voice of the enemy, and we know that it's just so clear that the type of energy that surround us, if you're not prayed up, I might as well go there tonight because you open the platform about God, and I just want to speak truth that I tell people all the time that if you don't have what I call a prayed up mindset, that's one of the foundations of becoming a winner in life. Because no matter what, if you're not prayed up in here and you stand for something out there, then you've allowed and I mean, there are, let's face it, Joyce, a multiplicity of wavelengths going on out there, and they're just waiting to snag you. They're just waiting to go, oh, I got you. And once they take residence here, the game is over. The game is over. And what you're telling me is that it sounds to me like you're a great mom, obviously a great coach, because you're allowing people to identify with the areas in their lives where they can just be themselves. And because honestly, when you're able to do that, from what you said, that's the place where spirit is. And spirit is in that place. Spirit is also in the deepest valleys of your life. And I think when you find people, and I'm sure as a coach, I've had 2 or 3 clients, even one I'm dealing with right now, that's dealing with so much of what's out there that they're losing the reality of the check to come on inside. I would not leave my house without saying Psalm 91. I know all 16 verses now. I've just drilled it in me so much that, and I'm just saying that because I just use me as an example, Joyce, because, and I'm sure you'll say the same thing. I don't think I'm an extraordinary person. I just think I found the energy and the passion for things in life to do some extraordinary things. And like you and I both are in what you're doing. I've run 25 marathons, and I always open up, and at some point in the show tonight, talk with people about that. So you've done this for 30 years. It was one of the questions I had here, that you have multiple certifications in the coaching industry. You say that you're a mental health coach. You say that you're a mental health fitness specialist, and I like that. So when it comes to that, how do you tie that into the concept of alignment? If I were your client and I came to Joyce and I said, man, I got some pain points, man. I got bad habits, man. I'm living with imposter syndrome, man. Joyce, man, I got poor time management. I'm a procrastinator. And at what point do you say, shut up?
Well,
Right?
the question you asked me in the very beginning is, what's your why? Why is it important? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? A lot of people are stuck. A lot of people, they want a whole new life. A lot of people just want to make a change that makes their life better. So it really depends on the client, but all clients need balance, and they all need to be aligned with their true, authentic self. So I help my clients create balance in their life by identifying, what are your priorities? Let's not fill our lives with all the things that suck time away from our priorities, but let's get the priorities plugged in first. What's really valuable to you. And the other thing is, not so much like moving from one goal to another goal to another goal. Who are you becoming? I like to focus on who are you becoming more than what are you accomplishing, because that's what really makes a difference. How you show up in the world, how you grow, how you expand, and become the best version of yourself.
Oh, no doubt. I love what you're saying there, because it's critically important. Because when people are truly, once again, living their AI, they're authentically identifying with what they're really here to do. The universe feels that kind of energy. It feels that kind of passion, and I'll never forget when I was just so scared to stand in front of people to even speak. And all of a sudden I just got enthusiastic about it. I use my classroom as a platform for everything I could do. I never thought that one of my books, one of these books will become from the journals that I was writing my special needs kids for 31 years. For I would just every day come in and I got this mantra going because long story short, imagine you're a special needs teacher back in 1992 with 6 classes in 6 different classrooms. And I had such a passion about just getting a job that you know something. The point I'm making is this: I was so passionate about it. I didn't care about pushing my cart from one class to the next. I had 5 minutes. I had to jump in, and then I start writing all these journals. And I tell people, if you're all in, with it, the universe is going to answer you. And Joyce Simpson, for over 30 years, you've been all in it. Now, one of the questions I want to ask you that's really very, very critical to what we're talking about. Would you describe that you're in a unique cohort of a certain demographic of people? Are there people who are 50 up, 45, 50? Are you dealing with people 18 to 25?
Yeah.
Or it's very heterogeneous? Talk to me about that.
So what I truly believe is God brings me every client I'm supposed to work with.
Hello.
And I can have my niche of working with, women in their 50s and 60s, but I've worked with 22-year-olds. I have worked with a lot of men. I have worked with all ages. So I can say, oh yeah, this is my niche, but you know what? I work with who God brings me, and he brings my clients. He's my CEO.
I love it. I want
he's
everyone to hear that. Joyce Simpson said it. I'm going to echo her. God is my CEO, Chief Executive Officer. And you know what I always say? You're the captain of the ship, but God is the ultimate navigator.
That's right. And God is the one who made you. He created you with your gifts. We can't give up hope in this life when things are hard and things are difficult. He's got a plan and purpose for each person. He created you like nobody else in this world. You are worthy. You are loved. You are valuable. And God's going to do amazing things in each of our lives. And I love to get that message across to my clients that, regardless of what you're creating, who are you becoming? You are becoming the person that God has created you to be, as you can step into that with confidence. And how we show up in the world comes from that inner confidence of knowing who you are. You're a child of God, and you can do all things through him who strengthens you.
Hello, right out of the Bible. Now, listen, now I got to ask this loaded question. You see, I wear this every day. My wife just walked up and maybe I'm gonna turn it around so they can see it there. It says, "God is, I am. God is, I am." And
Love it.
this only comes off my wrist when I'm going to inspire and empower someone else. I've met people in Walmart. I've met people at Home Depot. I've met people at the music store. I've met people out anywhere. And if something hits me, and God says, give them a reminder that they're never alone. Now, the big question I have for you is that how do you react to people who are pretty much not religious? They're not spiritual, maybe even an atheist. Have you ever had any encounters with clients who their foundation is not anchored around the mind, body, and spirit concept, and you have to kind of, or do you just, obviously you're not going to turn them away, but how do you respond? What is your recourse to that type of client?
God says if we ask for wisdom, he will give it to us generously. And what I choose to do is to love my clients and to try to encourage and speak truth into my clients' lives. I'm definitely not somebody who's going to be shoving anything down anybody's throat, but I have yet to have, and I have coaching clients right now who I would say are not Christians or Catholic or have any religious affiliation. And when I ask, would you mind if I say a short prayer to close us out? I've never had one of my clients say no. I'm
Oh,
speaking love and goodness over my clients. Who doesn't
yes,
want that? Whether you
yes.
believe or not, who doesn't want that? And you know what? I am not everybody's coach.
Hello,
Okay.
no doubt.
So, and that's okay. That's okay. But the coach that I am is a coach that's going to support, encourage, and help my client to uncover those aha moments where they go deep into their soul and they really discover what is meaningful and purposeful in their life.
Yes,
And if they have questions about how to fill those empty holes and spaces in their life, I'm going to absolutely direct them to the one who created that and the one who has a plan and purpose for them and the one who can fulfill their life with
right.
meaning.
Well,
So, yeah.
I want to say this to you because what you're saying, it reflects so many people right now. They're just social media junkies. They're just people who have this monolithic lifestyle that works around that whole they jump on that, they jump up in the morning grabbing the phones. They make sure they tag it before they go to bed at night. And you're finding that, by you opening up that window of spirituality to people, by you opening up that window of transparency, because once people do really become transparent and authentic to themselves, they don't realize in it that they're obscurely activating that spiritual component anyway. That's what they're doing, without even being totally cognizant of it. So, I mean, with that in mind, there was another question I had to you, that when people come to you, then you said you got them in all ages, but what is the dominant reason? What seems to be the one that, if you had 10 clients right now, what would five out of, or is it such a heterogeneous group? But what would be that one thing that you said you're seeing that you're uncovering a problem that's dominant over anything else that you do as a coach?
Mhm. Um, to be totally honest, I have worked with so many different people and so many different things. And I know being a coach to everybody for everything, you get nobody. And I understand that concept,
Hmm.
but that really is the truth. If I were to talk about my niche or something that I love focusing on, it would be simplicity. So, how can we simplify our thoughts?
Uh-huh.
I use mental fitness to help people identify the things that sabotage their life and help them take command of their thoughts.
Oh, you need to say
Uh,
that again. I'm gonna do like I saw TD Jakes do his daughter. Though that stop. That was you help
so,
people to stop sabotaging their lives. Could you repeat that for our viewers again, because that was golden. I would
yeah,
like you to repeat that.
I help people take command of their thoughts so they can identify their saboteurs and stop
Mm,
sabotaging their life. I
mhm,
help people simplify their stuff because people have way too much stuff. They're burdened by the clutter, they're burdened by the excess things they have to maintain constantly. I help people simplify their schedules. A lot of people have the pleaser saboteur. So they say yes to too many things and then they have
mhm.
regret, or they say yes to something and now they are neglecting their family or their own health. So I always say to my clients, if you say yes to this, what are you saying no to? If you
Uh-huh.
say yes to being part of this meeting, are you saying no to having dinner with your family? Or are you saying no to getting the sleep you need? So,
Yes.
helping people to identify, simplify your life. We need margin in life, we need
Yes.
room in our lives
Yes.
to just be, to be still, to rest. To be aware of our surroundings, to be in nature, we need time just to be. And
Wow.
when you're
We
running from
need
one
time
thing to
to
the
just
next,
be. Yes,
yeah.
we need time to just be. My apologies if I tag something you say that needs to stick. When you was talking about sabotage, and just like you said, we need time to just be. I told you you'd be a therapist for me tonight because I got issues. I'm around here listening to you, and that word when you said clutter, I said, "Oh Lord,
Oh, yeah, I
I'm
hear you.
guilty. I'm so
But I
guilty."
do want to
God.
catch you on that because I'm not a therapist. I'm not a therapist. I am a coach. I'm a simplicity coach. I am a
Yes.
mental fitness coach, but I am not a therapist. I am a massage therapist.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Okay. So I
Yes.
just want to clarify that. I'm not a therapist.
I
There
hear
is a
you.
difference. There
Oh
is a
no,
difference.
you are definitely life coach. You are a game changer in terms of finding. I call the pain points. I call what we're talking about tonight. People need to identify their pain points. They need to identify areas that are stagnating them. They need to identify areas that are causing them problems. So I think with that in mind, I am going to make it an unconditional plug for my Thursday night masterclass. And maybe one night I'll get you to come in and join me on one of the sessions because what you're speaking about is so relevant to what I'm in. My Strive to Succeed masterclass.
I love
And
it.
my acronym for the word strive is study, try, remember, innovate, visualize, and educate yourself forever in mind, body, and spirit. And what I offer on those Thursday nights is an opportunity for you to take my personal assessment, Joyce. People find out exactly what we're talking about. Where are their pain points? What's stopping them from being a peak performer?
Mm-hmm.
What's
Mm-hmm.
stopping them from letting the true maximum potential of them be exhibited in the real world of work, in the real world of family life, in the real
Mm-hmm.
world of physical development? Because
Mm-hmm.
one thing I talk about a lot, and on Thursday nights, you can be a recipient of this book, Activate or Stagnate, an ebook. You can also get this book from me, also 30 Days to a New You. Both of them are on time management and peak performance. And I do feel that the fact that I've done and been through so many highs and lows in my life, I think I can quantify that it won't be a subjective lie. This is one of my 25 medals as a marathoner. And I tell people, I'm not expecting you to run a marathon. Maybe you want to run your first one. My son Jonathan went to Flanagan High School with me, and he left and went over to Cooper City High here in beautiful South Florida. But he hated that I was a coach in cross country, and I made him run cross country. I literally made him. I hate to say that, but I said no because he was playing basketball and soccer, and I said this is an off-season sport, Jonathan. And if you go in right now and you put the work in, and you dedicate yourself to it, you'll thank me later. And surely enough, my son ran the New York City Marathon. He's going to
Wow, that's
Chicago
awesome.
to run the Chicago Marathon. He ran the Miami Marathon, and he came back to me and said, "You know something?" Now he and his wife ran one of the marathons with him. She just become a registered doctor and certified
Wow.
physician, and he's living his life because he found what we're talking about. And I'm sure when you talk about your girls, you can say the same thing that they watch you. And you can quantify that. So on Thursday nights, I get people to take the assessment and shout out there right now. The link is there in the description. If you come on a little later and check out this episode, you can always click on that Strive to Succeed link. It'll put you right into the community. I have something called my Get Activated community. Every month, you get me for 30 minutes to an hour once a month. I also have the 30 Days to a New You MPC, and I call that Maximum Potential Coaching Community. So for me, the GG Factor is good, and I'm doing this with you, but it's also my platform to let people know that I love what you're doing. I love doing what I'm doing to empower and inspire people. I think if we can do that, there will be one less negative statistic that was a known fact. Right here in Broward County, Florida, over 1 million people went to the hospital sick last year. Over
Mm-hmm.
1 million people.
Mm-hmm.
And, imagine how many in New York City. Imagine LA.
Yeah.
Imagine Chicago. Imagine Houston, because those are clearly highly densely populated places. And it's really, people are searching for that light under the sun. I don't know if you remember that
Yeah.
old Parliament. Everybody's got a little light under the sun. Under the sun.
I love what you do, Gregory. I love your energy. I love your smile. I love how you care for people, and it shows in your book. It shows in your performing. It shows in your coaching. You are really an incredible person, and I'm so thankful that
Grateful.
I've been able to get to know you. And I did want to mention one thing because you're holding those books up, and I have a book I'm working on. It's called Resting in the Presence of God, because we need that rest,
Mm.
and it's poems, praises, and life lessons. So it's not out yet, but I am in the works on that one. And when it's out, I'll make sure you get your signed copy.
Oh, no doubt. Give me that title again. Resting in the presence of God. Did you say?
Yes.
That
Uh-huh.
is so nice. That is
Yep.
so nice. So
Poems,
it sounds to
praises.
me like you're really on a spiritual journey. That above all to me seems to be uno priority in your life. To me, even I know you, like you say, you're a mental fitness specialist. There, you're a life coach. You're doing what you're doing, but it seems that you're on this trajectory to spiritual growth. Uh, like when Patricia's going to be coming on the show also. I know you
Okay.
and
Okay.
her are good
That's
friends. You're
great. Yeah,
talking a lot.
I know
Yeah,
Patricia.
she's
You
excited
know,
about it.
Yeah, I am on a spiritual journey, because when you receive the Holy Spirit inside of you, God says he transforms you into his image, and it's a
Mm,
work of his, lest anyone should boast. So that's
mm,
a lifetime of transformation, and I'm
yes.
definitely on that journey.
Oh,
And
yes.
if I can do one thing to help all my clients, is to help them live their best life, because God came to give us life and give it more abundantly. And
Yes.
he
Yes.
wants us
Yes.
to live a joy filled, abundant, fulfilling life.
Mm. Oh,
So
Lord.
that is my passion.
Yes.
God, we don't need to be walking around with anxiety and stress and depression, and we don't need to live that defeated life. God can give us the power, and he gives us the wisdom and the tools to take our gifts and our special uniqueness and put it out into the world, like you're
Mm.
doing with your performing and with your coaching and your writing. You take your gifts and you put it out in the world to bless other
Oh.
people. We all have that ability to do that, and that's when we find our deepest fulfillment.
Oh, no doubt. I echo you so. I knew you would be this tonight. I'm just so happy. No, because the world needs what you're speaking about, Joyce. They need it. Thank you for the compliments to me. I appreciate that. And as a retired teacher for 31 years, high school teacher, one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life, other than being a father and being a husband. And teaching to me was just this platform where it meant so much to me to see the light bulbs come on. And even as a coach, to be out there, and I was a girls' head coach for cross country. So I had these 30 girls in my I don't even want to begin to tell you what I had to do. High school girls and all, man. I mean, but you know what? In the end, when it was over, I did it 7 years, and it was because of throat nodules, because I was coaching all day, performing at night,
Mm,
doing weekends with the
yeah.
kids, doing stuff. My voice it shut down. I finally,
Wow.
after 7 years, and I got a throat surgery, and everything's back. Even my singing voice is okay. But when I remember when I went through that, because I was so passionate about all the things I was doing, and God was giving me all the energy I could to make it work. And it was only till one night I was going to a performance, and I was as I was going there, because it happens abruptly when your voice just shuts down. You don't know.
Yeah.
I thought I was just hoarse and having a rough day, and I'd been too vocal. And I couldn't even sing a song like "Fly me to the moon, let me lie among the stars, let me see what life's like, Jupiter on Mars." I couldn't,
Mars.
Joyce, I couldn't do none of that. And I said, "Oh boy!" And I'm on my way to a job. So I'm nervous. I'm like, and then I finally went and got an ENT, got myself checked out. And I've only had a couple of bouts with serious something like, other than I had my appendix out once. But other than that, man, let me tell you something. God has blessed me. And that's why I try to be the same for other people. That once you have a passion for something and you realize that's your purpose, you know, if you keep knocking on the door, there are infinite possibilities. That third three, that passion, purpose, possibilities, mindset that activates you being a winner. And I tell people, I heard Joel Osteen saying this the other day too. I have this little cube he has, and every morning it's religious to me. I click on the cube and he'll tell me something. No matter what I was going through the night before, when I wake up and I hear his little 2 or 3 minutes of inspiration, affirmation, And today he says something that's so relevant to what we're talking about. He said, sometimes you push, you keep pushing, and you don't understand that you just have to let go and let God. Sometimes you don't understand that everybody's going to have moments in the valley, that you're going to have these times in your life when things just don't work out, but they didn't work out for a reason. And you're always closer than you think. The only option, like he said, you don't have is to quit.
Exactly.
If it's something you're really passionate about, you should never say, I'm going to quit. When I went to graduate school and got my master's degree, I was so close to quitting so many times. And I went to my one class on a Saturday, because remember, I'm a musician working at night now full time, and getting up on Saturday morning after getting out of the club at 3 a.m, Joyce. Imagine that for 52 weeks. And one time I went in, the professor, Dr. Arlene Sachs, boy, she gave that syllabus, and she said, I want that term paper next week. Woo! I said, it ain't going to happen. I ripped up my check. I told her I would do it, but my point was this. She said, you think I'm going to let you quit? You put too much into this, Gregory. And she extended me for 1 week, and I didn't quit. And that was a threshold for me about what it means to go through to get to. And I know I can tell you're a great life coach and mental fitness therapist in what you do. I know you say you're not a therapist, but to me, therapy to me is when somebody comes in, look at you, correct your pain points, correct your bad habits, get you out of toxic environments, get you out of that, oh no, not me mindset. And I can tell that you sound like you are so good at that. Now, I'm going to ask you, do you have any books in the marketplace at all?
I did a collaboration a while back, but nothing on my own. But I have lots and lots of material I've worked on, and it's probably going to be boom, 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 and I'll get them all done at once. But I spend a lot of time writing.
There's no reason why you shouldn't have a book. What are you doing?
It's coming.
Oh,
it's going to be coming. I know, Gregory.
You can't keep
it's
talking yourself. And
coming.
Here's the point I want to make to you. It's amazing what these two intellectual properties have done for me. This book was placed in every vocational classroom in the Broward County school system. This book.
Woo!
And the sixth largest. And here's my point. And that was over 20 years ago. And I'm still making money. I'm still able to re-release these books, put them out there. So Joyce, you already are the professional. You already the expert. So I'm waiting on that book, man.
Okay.
IG, I'm leaning over on IG. They're on my phone. I'm telling Joyce Simpson tonight that we're gonna have her back on the show because she's gonna have a book within a year from now. I know
it's coming. It's coming.
So yeah. I'll tell you this, it sounds like a few books are in you. You're grounded in one from a spiritual perspective, but as a practitioner, Joyce, in the field of just mental therapy and what you're doing in mental health and life coaching, helping people be better versions of themselves, truly, without going spiritual or anything, just that data that you've compiled over 30 years, I'm going to write a book also about parenting ESC kids because I know over my 30 years of doing it, I've seen almost everything you could imagine, what works, what doesn't work, what I can say that I can quantify. And I always say, if you can't quantify it, it's a subjective lie. If you can't quantify, and people do that to themselves. They believe in things that are not really being able to quantify. And we, let's face it, man, because of social media now and the free will to just put things out there, there is such a bombardment of just false negative energy and people and information. So I say to you tonight that, something, when we have forums like this, I always say this to people, it's incumbent upon us. I'm speaking about people like you and I. When we say we want to inspire and empower people, I say to anyone, man, be quantitative, be honest, be transparent, be for real. When I say to people that I've ran 25 marathons, I got all the medals behind me. I got all the stats sure. When I tell people I've got a master's degree and how I've done it. And when I tell people beyond all of that, there is power within you that you have not activated. And it always seems like you want to quit. And because I have the world famous global coach here right now who's probably talked to people from all over the world in her profession, I'm sure she echoes with me. The only limitations that exist are the ones you place upon yourself. And Joyce, I want to say that, turn it back over to you. When you come to people who are like the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst in self-esteem, the worst of, oh no, not me, I don't think I can. The worst of procrastination. You know, my book is called Activate or Stagnate for one reason. We all procrastinate. We either activate, we procrastinate to the point that we stagnate. So what do you do with the client that's like that? The one that's you can tell is
Right,
really,
right.
yeah,
Well,
case study.
a big reason we procrastinate, we have the avoider saboteur.
Mm,
And when you become aware of the saboteurs and how they're impacting your life, then you can make the shift. So I take people through an 8-week program. It's run by an app on their phone. We meet once a week, Monday nights for 8 weeks. And it's positive intelligence. That is what I'm certified, positive intelligence mental fitness coach. So I would bring them through. And matter of fact, for anybody who listens to this and reaches out, texts me, I'm going to give them 8 weeks of free coaching once a week when they sign up to go through the 8-week positive intelligence program with me.
wow.
So that is going to be $1,600 gift for those who reach out from this program.
Oh, I got to make sure we can echo that again. Joyce Simpson has put it out there. She's putting her intellectual property on the table, saying to offer to you opportunities to come in once a week and do that for 8 weeks with her. And I'm sure once you do that, you won't turn back because I know what she's talking about to be true. So I'm going to keep that there. This episode will be up until who knows when. But I'll say this to you and I'll say it again and again. You keep doing what you're doing. There were a few questions here that are fragile. If you looked over all of them, first and foremost, I forgot to ask you. I gotta get your etiologies. Where were you born, or is your family around you now? Are you living
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Arizona? I gotta let our viewers and
You
our
got to
listeners
get
know.
that.
Yeah, I didn't get that question in.
Okay, well, I was born in California and I'm still in California.
Okay,
I live in Mission Viejo, Orange County, and I've been here for the last, gosh, 38 years in Orange County. And I was born in Lakewood and, about half hour north of where I am now. So, um,
question. What are those towns you're mentioning in proximity to places like L.A. or San Diego or
I'm with
Cupertino?
no traffic, no
What are you
traffic.
close to? Which one
I'm
of those
about
cities?
I'm
Which
an
one?
hour south of LA and
Okay,
about 30 minutes north of San Diego,
got you. Okay, that gives me
Carlsbad.
geographically speaking.
Kind of, yeah, a little
Yeah,
closer to San Diego than LA, but right in the middle there. And
nice.
I have 3 grown daughters,
Uh-huh.
Tiffany, Nina, and Hannah.
Nice.
I have 3 wonderful son-in-laws, and I have 5 amazing grandchildren
Oh, wow,
that
grandma, that's all right.
that have my heart. I just am in love with these all these kids. They're amazing. They range from 15 down to about maybe let's see, 14 months.
That is amazing.
So,
And you look
yeah.
marvelous. Let me just stop. I don't know your age. I don't even ask people their age anymore because I'm an advocate of saying I say my age. I've been on this planet for 7 decades. I'm 71 years old. I don't care what.
Wow.
In
You look
spirit,
great.
there's only maturity, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all it is, man.
Well,
You
I
know?
go by my inner age anyway of
Yeah.
32, so it doesn't matter.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well,
Yeah.
listen, you just, so you're a California girl.
I'm a
You,
California girl, and
yeah.
my husband came out from Ohio. He was out for about 6 months. I snatched him up,
Okay.
and we've been married. It's going to be 38 years. My best
Congratulations.
friend, love of my life, and yeah, happy to be sharing life with him. And it's fun. It's been fun.
Well, you know
Yeah.
something? There's no power greater than love. I've I'm here with my wife. We've been here in this beautiful home now. This summer will be 23 years together. And I'm just telling you that, we met in the school system as educators, and we were definitely very good, close friends before we even decided that this was the path to take. And you said it. I echo you. You said that's your friend. Miriam is my friend. She's my confidant. She's my greatest supporter. Because we know we all have our highs and we all have our lows, and nothing like having someone in life that you can share the path with. That when all those highs and lows come, those moments in the valley, we all gonna have them, and nothing like somebody who you can reach out to, and they can be there for you as a source of inspiration and truth to you. But I always say above all of those things, and it's so relevant to tonight, no greater power, no greater friend than me, myself, and I. You can't be nothing to nobody else if you don't be something to yourself. And I tell people that, because if you're less than anything that what you should be, then you become obscure detriment. And people, that's when the tug of war happens. I have something I call the cat effect that's always present, Joyce. Compromise, acceptance, and tolerance. CAT. And when there's always going to be a compromise. There are no such thing as this perfect relationship. There's no such thing as this perfect him or perfect her. Because my series that I'm working on and I'm utilizing now for my platform, it's called the Strive Masterclass Relationship Series.
Love it.
Yes, I'll talk about the who, what, when, where, and your WHY, like I did with you tonight. Because all of those who, what, when, where, and whys are relationships. They really are. But the deepest of all of those is me, myself, and I. And I tell people, until you embrace that, because when you bring the best version of yourself to your personal life, your work life, your life as a parent, your neighbors next door, your church, whatever you do, even if you're in athletics, your coaching ability, or me as a band leader, as a production coordinator, whenever you bring that, and that enthusiasm is contagious. And I can tell by talking to you tonight, I applaud you for what you're doing. And I think right now, it's a very fragile subject, but I was looking at one of the questions we didn't talk about it, and I might as well, because you're very spiritually grounded. We had something happen with our president administration in this country that raised the bar on everybody's, what is he doing? Why did he do it? And it said, do you think the political climate is a trigger for a lot more people needing therapy right now? You think the kind of things that are going on with our existing administration, and because it's really been so much from ICE, 2 people murdered, so much going on with dropping all these programs. I'm an ESC teacher. I felt so bad when I heard how many programs that were funded for kids with disabilities that were just cut, and that creates stress. That means somebody who's usually getting assistance or getting money, like the food assistance programs and a lot of these things that the president administrations have cut back on. I always say to people, do you find this climate is creating more of an opportunity for you because of the stress that people are going through? Have you noticed that or not in your profession?
Well, the thing that I really notice is the saboteur, the lead saboteur that runs the saboteurs is the judge. Judging ourselves, judging other people, judging circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are able to step out of judgment and step into empathy, compassion,
Mm-hmm.
innovation,
Yes.
taking calm action, when we can shift over to think differently, and look for the good.
Yeah.
I believe that all people have good in
Yes.
them. And
Yes.
we can either focus on what isn't working, or we can focus on what
Boy,
is working.
you are so right.
And we're always going to have both in this world, but we move towards what we focus on. So what is your intention? What is your intention? How can you make a difference in the world? How can you be a person that brings less stress and anxiety to our world? How can you be a person? Matter of fact, I have an in-home coaching group with a group of ladies. We meet once a month at my house.
Oh, nice.
This last month was, do we use living water words or empty well words? Do we
Oh,
use words that breathe life into other people and encourage
oh,
and edify and support other people? Or are we negative and tearing people down and
yes.
looking for what isn't working? So we all have a choice in this world to step out of judgment and step into love
Uh-huh.
and look for what is working.
Step out of judgment and step into love. You, I, you're just so full of this, just the right words, the right affirmations that are just an infinite wellspring of just unconditional love. Joyce Simpson, you have been wonderful tonight.
Thank you,
As I
Gregory.
said, man, that I'm maybe looking at the clock. We've been at this almost an hour right now, and it did not even feel like it. So I just want to say,
No.
to you, I say we go about 45 to an hour, and it's just been great. And that is why I asked you that kind of question, because things in this country are fragile. There are things going on around us that impact it. We got wars going on. I had on my shirt that said peace today and my cap, and I want to put it on right now because it's relevant. I told you I probably end up at some point tonight. You know, yeah, I'm over there saying that, listen, you have to wake up with a mindset that he who dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. You alone are my refuge and my fortress. I put my trust in you to protect me against the snare of the fowl and the noise and pestilence. Cover me with your feathers, and under your wings shall I trust. Your truth shall be my shield and my buckler. And Joyce Simpson, tonight, I will say this to you, that I hope if someone took only 10% of this tonight to be a better version of themselves tonight, and they wake up making sure that they place God first, that Psalm 91 is not going to, I'm not going to walk out my house. I can't, I won't. And I'll go and touch my Bible. And if not, I know, as you can see, enough of it. I could have just went right through literally all 16 verses, because it's just been this mantra, this anchored way that I'm not going to deviate from that place in spirit first. And you said the word shift quite a few times tonight, and I want to bring up something that a mentor of mine, his name is Dr. Robert Lemon, great minister, speaker, retired from the post office. I went to one of his retreats, and he had this gentleman there that was an executive for the Disney Corporation as a salesman. His name, I highly advise his book, To Shift Your Brilliance. His name is Simon T. Bailey. I highly advise you, because of what you're speaking about, to even check out his YouTubes. I give unconditional plugs to anyone I can who will on your trajectory of what you're
Love
doing to
it.
push out there. He had this term that stays with me. As a matter of fact, it became one of the mantras in my high school. Relationships will always be the new currency.
At the
Relationships,
end of your life, what's going to matter? It's going to
hello.
matter, what did you invest your time in? Relationships, that's what truly matters.
Yes.
And at the end of our life, what lasts? It's not going to be how much money you made. It's not going to be all the stuff
Nope.
you acquired.
Nope. None of it.
That's
Good.
not going to be it. So if I could close with one thought, and I've said it, and I would just like to say it again,
Yes.
that each person listening, each one of my clients, I want them to fully embody and embrace the knowledge that they are loved, they
Yes.
are precious, they are
Yes.
cherished, they are unique, and God has an amazing plan and purpose for their life. So don't give up hope in this life.
No
There
doubt.
are amazing things right around the corner for you. So
Yes.
hang in there and step into your beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful uniqueness.
You say that word unique, and I just have to echo you, because I have a beautiful granddaughter. I have two sons, and my granddaughter's name is Alyssa. But if I would have had a daughter of my own, I always said her name would be unique.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
I love that. I believe that we're all put on this planet to make our contribution, and I just love what you're doing. Your warm
Thank you.
spirit, just you've been just a source of energy to me tonight, and I'm sure my wife can echo that. She's sitting up there listening. She walked up and said about God is I am, and
Love it.
I'm sure at one point we're going to come to California, and I'm going to look forward to connecting with you on the West Coast. And I don't know,
Love
who
it.
knows, maybe we'll all connect again at James' place. I've been so busy, I haven't been able to squeeze anything like that in. But I want to thank you, Joyce. I really want to thank you for stopping to, hey, squeeze a little guy like me in tonight, and to our
Oh, my
viewers, our
pleasure.
listeners.
Thank
There are well
you.
over 1,000 plus on Instagram that will, this stays for 30 days there. It stays here for several months. We were live on LinkedIn tonight. So someone, somewhere is going to be inspired. Someone is going to be empowered. Someone is going to be able to embrace what you were able to do tonight to make this work. So I start with music, I end with music, and I'll say this to you that I know everything in the world was trying to stop us tonight. You know that, right? Everything was trying, every
It
little
took
blah,
a
blah,
few
blah, blah.
times getting
Oh,
on.
it was trying very hard. It was trying diligently to try to stop us. And I said, nope, I know something's going on here, but it's not going to stop us. I don't care how long it takes. But I'm going to say this to you that, at the end of the day, you have to embrace the reality that there's going to be challenges. It's going to happen. There'll be challenges in our lives. And one thing that we all can understand is that when you're prayed up from the inside, you can get over those things. They don't last. Nothing lasts forever. And Joyce Simpson, for 30 years, you continue to empower, to inspire people, and I'm going to say this to you that I know that book that you got, that's going to be a bestseller. I know it's going
God
to be.
willing.
Oh no, that book is going to be a bestseller. I'm looking for my music that I want to play, and I don't even see it because I guess it
Maybe
lights
you're
my
supposed to
eyes.
sing us out, Gregory. Maybe
Yeah.
you're supposed to sing us out. I don't know.
I don't know about singing us out tonight. All I can say that there have been so many things that held us down, but now it looks like things are finally coming around. I know you got a long way to go. You ask me where I'm going, and I don't know. But we let nothing hold us down. We just continue to say this. Ain't no stopping us now, because we're on the move. That's for you.
Ain't no stopping us
Ain't no
now.
stopping us now. We're on the move. So I guess it wasn't meant for me to play no more music here. I'm going to say good night to you. Thank you so much for this time together. And once again, tell people, please, how they can reach you just verbally right now. We'll put it in the description later, but how do they reach you?
Yes.
Simpson, email, or your social media, or if there's an 800 number, could you go ahead and put that out there now?
It's been fun. You can reach me at 949-310-3563 or Joyce Simpson Coaching at gmail.com.
Boom. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you.
It, man.
It's
Hope you
been
all got
fun,
that over there.
Gregory.
Oh, it's been out of sight. I knew it would be a night like this that I won't forget. You even got me singing tonight. Going out on a limb for Joyce Simpson. But you know what? The message was so relevant. Ain't no stopping us. We're going to keep this thing moving. Be blessed, and I'll be in touch. God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.